Welcome into One-on-One on OSU Student Radio KXUI, Sunlink Channel 112, live from Studio 318. I'm Reed Spencer, joined by my co-host Logan Mosier, as always. Like a 32 break, but we're back.
I know, it's been a while.
32-day break, I guess, just not a 32 break. Maybe that doesn't make as much sense. But we are back. I assume you had a good break. You did.
I did.
You're not as wise as you were now.
No, they took my wisdom out. They took all my wisdom out. I had 3 wisdom teeth removed, but I've recovered in the past week, so I'm good to do the show now. I won't be as smart, so you might win a couple more arguments, but hopefully I can still keep up.
I do know a quick fix to solving. When you lose wisdom, you could dye your hair. You could get some new wireless headphones. You could change some things about yourself that
make it seem like
make you seem wise, but cover up some blemishes. But we were gone for a long time, and we covered OSU football week in and week out. And then we missed maybe the most important stretch of the season, which was, the bowl practices and the bowl game. And the Cowboys shocked me.
Yeah.
Shocked me that they would be able to beat Mizzou like that. Now, I wasn't one who was, beating the SEC drum like most Mizzou fans were, because they're not as physical, and that shows week in and week out. But Drew Lock he may be a top 10 pick. The Cowboys were 6-6, inconsistent, but we did know one thing. They got up to play the teams that they really shouldn't beat, and they got a 38-33 win over Mizzou. What did you make of that Liberty Bowl win?
It was just the whole season put into one game. They came out, they were really good through the first 3 quarters. Then the fourth quarter happened. I can't remember exactly when Taylor Cornelius threw that interception in the end zone towards the end of the game, but that was kind of the turn. I was like, okay, this is what we're used to seeing. We're going to lose this game because they're not going to get up and play. They're not taking this seriously enough. We ended up winning anyway, only scoring 3 points in the fourth quarter and giving me a minor heart attack. I guess that's why they call them the Cardiac Cowboys.
Oh, man, that was a game.
I think Taylor Cornelius played his heart out this game. 26 for 44, 336 yards, 4 TDs, 2 picks. He knew it was his last game, and he put it all out there. So it was kind of it's a weird way to end a weird season. That was how I came away with it.
It's weird because that game, the way it started, and the rocky road for the team as a whole, and especially for Taylor Cornelius, was just like a microcosm of the season as a whole.
Exactly.
Because it started out great, and then he threw those 2 interceptions back to back. And if he doesn't throw those interceptions, that game's over going into the fourth quarter. I mean, they were going to blow Mizzou out, and then they let him back in the game, and then they get a couple quick touchdowns, and it gets really dicey there at the end. But a big special teams play, and I know that Taylor Cornelius got the MVP, and it's hard to give somebody an MVP for essentially one play, and Colby Peel did more than just one play.
Yeah.
But give him everything for being able to. By the way, that was a terrible play call. I mean, Drew Lock is not exactly known for being a speedster, but Oklahoma State ran a similar play to try and beat Baylor and didn't work out.
Right.
But I don't know. What's one word that describes this season? Because this season, quite honestly, I'm glad it's over, and I love football season. But that was tough to watch for 13 weeks.
Yeah, I think if you want to put it into one word, I think it's inconsistent, right?
Right.
I mean, you show up for the big games. You beat Texas. Were they number 9 at the time? You almost beat Oklahoma. You beat West Virginia, but you lose to Baylor. You get destroyed by Kansas State. That was probably the worst game of the whole year. It was Kansas State. You lose to Texas Tech, like you mentioned.
TCU, you saw what they were able to do in their bowl game with.
Oh my gosh.
Muhlestein. I mean, there's a reason he was the 7th backup, and there's a reason he threw 14 interceptions in the Cheez-It Bowl. He's not good, and they beat this team.
Yeah, and I mean, if anything, that was the exact opposite of how it should have gone. You should have maybe lost to Texas. Definitely should have lost to OU if you just look at the talent. West Virginia, that's probably another loss. But other than that, if you just look at talent, this team stacked up just about as well as any other team in the Big 12.
Yeah.
But they just couldn't ever seem to put any kind of consistency together from week to week. It was just a coin flip of who you were going to get.
So now you finished with the 13th winning season in a row, and I really do. I mean, people can tell you, well, no one will remember if you went 6-7 or 7-6. I think that matters. I think keeping that winning season, making a bowl game, mattered. So, what people thought was mostly the hang-up, and I don't think that was a fair criticism was Taylor Cornelius in the quarterback position because statistically he had a really good year.
He did.
Had some really off games and some bad moments, but showed flashes that he could be really good. But he's gone. He was, a fifth-year senior.
Yep.
So now when you're looking forward, you've got a young defense. You're going to have to replace that defensive line.
Right.
You don't want to be 7-6 next year, but you want to have a winning season. What are they doing going into spring practice, going into once they get into summer practice, which is obviously a little bit further away?
Yeah, I think they're just going to try and understand Jim Knowles' defense, because I think that was a lot of the problems with the defense this year. They kind of figured it out towards the end.
Right.
They simplified it a little towards the end, but I think just the more those guys play with that, and especially the young guys, like you said, that D-line's basically going to be brand new. This is going to be the only system they'll play in at Oklahoma State. Those other guys, they were used to a different defense this year, and they make the immediate switch. So I think it'll be a little bit better. I think it's going to get better. And as far as the quarterback goes, I think you have to consider playing Spencer Sanders instead of just using a year of Drew Brown.
Right.
Because then we're in the same spot as this year. What's the point of playing a guy that's only going to be here for a year, especially if you have a young defense? You want to build all around, I feel like. So what are your thoughts on the quarterback situation?
I mean, if you go into spring practice and you get into that August camp and Spencer Sanders isn't there, you can't start him for.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I agree with the sentiment. I mean, we don't want to be having this same discussion again. And quite honestly, if you don't start Spencer Sanders, I mean, you have to wonder if he's
got it.
Yeah, that, and if he's going to say peace out Stillwater.
Yeah,
I'll find a new place to play.
That's also true.
So you have to worry about that. But if you get into those practices and he's just not there, you have to start Drew Brown.
Yeah.
So I understand from a football standpoint if they do start Drew Brown, if that gives them the best option to win. And I do think that Taylor Cornelius gave him the best option to win this year, and people were disgusted at that notion. But I think that he really did. But Spencer Sanders has now had a year under his belt. He's going to have a spring practice. He's going to have a summer to prepare. So you would think, with all the hype that has come with him,
yes,
all of that, you would think he should be able to get that under control and channel that into winning on Saturdays.
Yeah,
you would hope
yeah,
so.
You would, yeah. And I think the bowl. We talked about making the bowl game and why that's so important. And I think Coach Gundy said this. You get all those extra practices. What is it? 24 extra practices or something like that. That's really important, especially because I don't think they played Cornelius a lot in the practices. I think that was mostly for guys like Spencer Sanders and maybe even Drew Brown, just to see what they could do going into spring training, going into spring ball. So hopefully he's just getting a lot of reps. He got a lot of reps, and hopefully in bowl practice, hopefully he's going to get a lot of reps. Hopefully he looks really good in the spring game. That's obviously quite a bit away, or pretty far away. I can't decide what I'm trying to say here.
It's a few months away.
Yeah. So hopefully whenever that comes around, he plays really well in that. That's for everyone to see. So by then, hopefully we'll have some kind of idea of if he understands what he's doing at all. So it's going to be interesting. A lot of the young corners are coming back, and AJ Green's coming back. Is Malcolm Rodriguez returning?
Yeah, they're secondary.
They're going to be really good.
Yeah, I mean, they are stacked. The second level and the defensive line are going to have some inexperience. But I think that you hit on it perfectly. It's Jim Knowles. A lot of these guys were playing high school football the year prior.
Right.
And in a lot of high school football, you do have plays, you do have game plans, but athleticism wins, and that's what they win with. And for them to have to understand this very complex defense, and they simplified it, and you said it got a lot better once they simplified it. So now they've got more time to learn. Maybe they can instill some more things.
Yes.
And this will be better. I'm really not worried about the defense because I don't ever expect the defense to be great in the Big 12. You have to outscore people.
Right.
But we're talking about this progression of Spencer Sanders and how that's been what's promised to the fans. This program has kind of been hanging its hat on.
Yeah.
As Spencer Sanders taking us to the promised land, and he doesn't have an offensive coordinator right now. The guy that recruited him is now in Columbus, Ohio.
Yeah, I think people were praising that he's gone.
Those fans are clueless.
I was about to say, they could be wishing he was back if they don't find the right guy.
Yeah, because he brought in Mason Rudolph.
Yeah.
He brought in Spencer Sanders. He had some of the top offenses in the country, and sometimes the play calling was like, what are you doing? It's questionable. That happens in every single offense, anywhere, ever.
At any level.
Any level and any sport. I mean, sometimes you question decision making, but they will miss Mike Yurcich. They still haven't named an offensive coordinator. You would think it's probably going to be Josh Henson.
Yeah.
Since he's been an offensive coordinator before. He's helped recruit these kids. He's offensive line coach now. And the offensive line was terrible to start out the year. They vastly improved throughout 13 games. So we'll see there. Obviously, everyone wanted Todd Monken, but he wanted to stay in the NFL, and ton of reasons why you would want to stay in the NFL. And now he's, believe it or not, Baker Mayfield's offensive coordinator in Cleveland. So they haven't named an offensive coordinator, but I'm sure that will be coming in the next several weeks. So a 7-6 season, 38-33 win over Mizzou in the Liberty Bowl. Not a great season, but it's over, so we'll start looking forward to next season. Without Tyron Johnson, he declared for the NFL draft.
Right.
But guys that will be here, 4-star running back DeAndre Glass out of Katy, Texas, committed to Oklahoma State over the likes of Alabama. And which Alabama got a 5-star running back. They were kind of loaded. I mean, I'm not going to pretend it's something that it's not.
Right.
And he felt like this is the best fit for him after all of that fell into place. And Oklahoma State should be glad. But he said he wants to win a national championship here. And he says he wants to win a Heisman as a freshman. Chuba Hubbard.
Yeah, I was about to say that there's a guy in front of him. It's Chuba Hubbard.
L.D. Brown. I mean, there's some guys ahead of him, and he's very talented, and you never know what can happen. You should always play the best guy. And I totally appreciate guys saying that. You should be able to say what you want, but you have to be prepared that when you play 3 games maybe, that's going to resurface, and people are going to talk to you about that. But don't have a problem with him saying it now, I guess.
Yeah, if it obviously becomes a problem during the year. And we're saying this, maybe he's that good. Maybe he comes in and just takes the starting spot. I doubt that. I strongly doubt that. Chuba Hubbard had played great down the stretch of this last season. He was great in the bowl game. I don't see him getting replaced, but I do like bringing in this guy. Obviously,
4-star.
4-star. That's one of the top ranked recruits that Mike Gundy's ever gotten here. He has depth to the running back position after you obviously lost a couple this last year to transfers. So we'll have to see how it plays out. I'm like you. I don't mind him saying it now. Confidence is great.
But be prepared.
But be prepared. Do what's best for the team. He'll get his shot if he stays here, if he's as talented as 247 Sports and everyone like that says he is.
Well, you never know till I get on the field, and he's going to have to go with DeAndre Glass. With Coach Glass is going to have to go through some training, and maybe that will improve. We'll have to mention that school down south. I guess Jalen Hurts is transferring. He will be an Oklahoma Sooner next season.
Yep, and I don't think that matters. I don't think that helps their national championship hopes at all. He's not on defense.
No.
He's not bringing Alabama's defense with him.
No, but we have plenty of shows before next season. I think OU is going to be pretty almost unbeatable next year. But Jalen Hurts, I mean, and he obviously went like 29-2.
Yeah.
He made it to 2 national championship games, got benched in 1. And Tua Tagovailoa's, that's his team now.
Yeah.
But does anyone really think that Jalen Hurts is better than Baker or Kyler?
No.
No. So, I mean.
Maybe he does.
No,
but no one else does.
No. So, and Tate Martell is transferring to Miami. So, and Austin Kendall went from OU to West Virginia. They blocked it and then
unblocked it.
Kind of got some heat. So now he is going to be a Mountaineer. It looks like we're going to take a quick break on OSU Student Radio KXUY Suddenlink Channel 112 here on One on One, and we're going to come back and talk about everything going on with Cowboy basketball, because we could probably do a full hour going on with Cowboy basketball. We'll be right back after this.
One on One is brought to you by Tinker Federal Credit Union. Visit facebook.com/TinkerFCU. While you're there for your family, we're there for you. Tinker Federal Credit Union. And OSU Communications. Not sure where to park? OSU Communications has got you covered with parking tips and bus schedule information. We'll be right back.
Determining your future by selecting a major can be difficult.
It's okay to be undecided,
Connect with the College of Arts and Sciences, where your options are endless.
where you can uncover your passions and achieve your goals.
Express your creativity by exploring a career in the visual and performing arts.
Investigate new discoveries to make the world a better place with a career in science.
Advance knowledge, communicate progress, and contribute to a healthier planet with a career rooted in the social sciences.
Discover your career by looking at the world from different perspectives through the humanities.
Realize a better tomorrow through problem solving and mining data that can change lives.
CAS prepares you to succeed through internships, study abroad, student-guided research projects, and service activities.
With 109 majors, 52 minors, and 24 departments, the only thing missing is you. College of Arts and Sciences.
Connect.
Achieve, succeed.
When you have a team of physicians and nurses that really truly care about their patients, that translates into patient care.
It's a small practice, it's a small town. Everybody really takes that time to put the patient first.
Everybody cares what's happening to me and that I'm making progress and I'm gaining my freedom back and my mobility back. This patient is saying thank you.
This spring, I invite you to shop in downtown Stillwater. Downtown Stillwater is home to locally owned shops, boutiques, eateries, and dependable professionals that you can trust. Find the perfect gift for your graduate, have a delicious meal with mom, or just stop in to enjoy great spring savings. By creating a demand for local goods and services, you can ensure a place for the local businesses that help give our community character and keep it unique. On behalf of Downtown Stillwater, thank you for shopping local.
Made it this way.
You know, I don't really kind of count. I don't keep count. You know, kind of just like with my own son. You know, he does something wrong today. I don't. You know, if he keeps doing the same thing, right? We got a problem. But each situation that comes up is, in and of itself, a situation we got to deal with. And like I said, it's not always public what goes on, and there's been discipline before for these guys, and you know. Now is just the time to make this decision right now and for our program.
Welcome back into One-on-One on Ocean Student Radio KQI, Sunlink Channel 112. Oh boy, you saw Mike Boynton talking there about the 3 dismissed players. Now Oklahoma State is left with 9 players and 8 coaches in the program and 8 scholarship players. This is not the start that Mike Boynton wanted to the season, and now we're pretty much halfway through. I'll go through the players. Maurice Kalu, Contravius Jones, and Michael Weathers all are no longer with the program. And I think Maurice Kalu, his name had really not come up in really anything.
Right.
Contravius Jones had been suspended for violation of team rules. We don't really know what that was several times.
Yeah.
And we all know that Michael Weathers was suspended
early in the year before the season started.
Yes, for obviously doing some things, I don't even know how to describe it, but he deserved to be suspended. He got a second chance, he came back in, and now they are no longer with the program.
Right. And you mentioned Contravius Jones had already been suspended before. In that press conference, Mike Boynton also said that this was for the same reason as that. So it's really tough when you look at it. They lost a lot of guys that could give them really good minutes. Michael Weathers obviously was backup point guard, and they also dismissed Michael Weathers. He wanted to transfer, or who am I thinking?
Michael Cunningham. A few weeks ago. Yes.
Gosh, I'm off.
A lot of
I'm off
Michaels.
my game.
Michael Weathers, Mike Cunningham, Mike
Boynton.
Gundy, Mike Boynton, Mike Holder. There's a lot of Mikes.
There's a lot of Mikes.
2 less now, but there's a lot of Mikes.
So anyway, he is also no longer with the team. He's going to be transferring. So you look at, they had open tryouts last night for walk-ons. They're trying to fill the roster. What do you see for the rest of the season, Reed? What's the best case scenario for this last however many games of the season?
Well, well, there's a problem here, and that's the fact that they play in the Big 12.
Right.
And they, even with everyone, even when they had people, they were getting beat. And I don't think it's for lack of coaching. I mean, they're 2-3 in the Big 12 now, 8-9 overall. They have to go to Iowa State, a team that's already beat them.
Tonight.
They have to go to OU, a team that's already beat them. They have to play iffy South Carolina team, but I
Yeah.
would think that they're probably better fit to beat Oklahoma State right now.
Probably.
You have K-State twice, a tournament team. TCU twice, tournament team. KU
Kansas.
twice, one of the best teams in the country. Texas Tech twice, one of the best teams in the country. Texas, I don't know if you're going to be able to beat them again.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to play Baylor again, and West Virginia's obviously struggling a lot, but it's not a guaranteed win anymore.
Right.
Best case scenario is they don't get blown out.
Yeah. That's kind of where I came down. Like, you can't guarantee any wins when you look at the schedule. You probably couldn't do that anyway, just because of the lack of talent that the roster had before this. You just got to try and keep it close. You got to manage guys' minutes, obviously. Now, if you've only got 8 scholarship players, like you mentioned, you can't play just 8 guys however many minutes.
Right, and now on your bench you have Trey Reeves, you have Luke Majors, the walk-on, and Trey Reeves is formerly a walk-on, got put on scholarship this year. Duncan DeMuth, who's a freshman, and Curtis Jones, who's also a freshman. I mean,
A lot of young guys, a lot of guys that didn't get a lot of playing time really before this.
and I get your rotation is probably never more than 9 anyways.
Yeah.
But these 4 guys weren't a heavy part of your rotation.
Right.
So now, if you honestly can sit there and say, it's not going to affect them very much. No, they are going to be affected by these 3 dismissals. And I was listening to Robert Allen on the way in here, and I think he probably put it best. The best thing that this Oklahoma State team can do is take on the personality of Mike Boynton.
Yes. And I think he's the perfect guy to do that, to lead these guys, to motivate them, because he never seems like he's down on anything. He always takes everything on the chin and is ready for what's next. I'm not saying he's excited to figure out how to deal with this, but he's definitely ready. He's definitely up and ready. He's not, we lost a bunch of guys. We're probably not going to be any good this year. It's really just unfortunate. We could have been pretty good, but now we're not. He's ready to try and still go out there and win games. He wants to make the fans of Oklahoma State excited to come to Gallagher-Iba Arena. In that loss to Baylor, they had their best home crowd of all season, I think.
9,000 were there.
Yeah, so you want to try and replicate that. It's going to be hard when you don't have the kind of excitement that you had before. You at least had a chance. Now you don't know. Oklahoma is going to be the next home game. That's the 23rd. That will obviously draw a big crowd just because it's Bedlam. But, outside of that, how are you going to get guys to come to Kansas State? How are you going to get Texas Tech? I mean, people might come just because they're good. But you look at those, you got to embody some kind of energy. And I think Mike Boynton, like Robert said, that's the perfect guy. You got to embody what he is.
Right, and the perfect idea when you're talking about a university and a fan base is no matter if they're good or bad, people are going to come watch. This is when we should support them the most. This is when we should lift them up the most.
Yes.
In theory, that's a good idea. That's not how people work.
It's hard to do.
People show up when you're winning.
Right.
They had nobody at the beginning of last year. They started winning games, and Gallagher-Iba was full and rowdy 3 times last year. They're probably not going to get that this year. And you could say that's fair or not, but they're not a good basketball team.
Right.
And that's because they're left with 9 players. They're young. That isn't their fault. But they still have potential to be good. They're probably not a tournament team.
Yeah.
But they're good players. They want to win. This is not Cameron McGriff's fault. This is not Thomas DeZongwa, Lindy Waters. Everyone left on the roster is not responsible for this.
Right.
The people that were dismissed, the people that left the program, Michael Cunningham, Maurice Kaluk, and Travis Jones, Michael Weathers, this is on them. They let their former teammates down. That's on them.
Yeah.
And I don't have a problem at all with Mike Boynton operating a program this way. I have no problem with him saying we're not tolerating it. And these guys were given, at least Michael Weathers was given 2 chances.
Yeah.
So he was on thin ice to begin with.
Yeah, I mean, you heard him in that thought we brought in, and that quote he said, I kind of treat it like my son. I don't count how many times he does something wrong, Punish him if he does something wrong. It doesn't matter if he does it once, twice, or 3 times. If it's that bad, you got to correct it on the first try. And I like the stance he took. It's a no-nonsense kind of deal. I think that's going to be great moving forward, but it hurt him in the short term. That's what kind of people don't look at it that way. They don't look at it like this could help later on. It's just it hurt us right now. Because I think that's just how society is. You look at the right now. But you look at the leadership that's on this roster, you're going to rely on Cameron McGriff, Lindy Waters, and Thomas DeZongwa so much more than you already did. And they were already relying on those three guys
Right.
a lot. Those are the upperclassmen. Those are the juniors. And Trey Reeves is also a junior, and Curtis Jones is a junior, but
Right.
they didn't see.
I called
they,
him a freshman
yeah,
earlier, but
they didn't.
I mean,
They didn't see heavy minutes. They don't have the experience that these guys have. Those three guys, Lindy, Cameron, and Thomas Zagwa, those guys have been through so much with this program already. I wanted to mention that just because they have stuck it out through one of the toughest stretches you could probably go through in a collegiate career. They did not expect all of this whenever they committed to Oklahoma State. They did not expect to have two head coaches, the FBI come in here.
well, the coach that recruited him
Yeah,
is gone.
Right.
So they show up with Brad Underwood. Brad Underwood leaves in basically the middle of the night, it
yeah.
seemed like.
He's here for a cup of coffee and then he's out.
And then Mike Boynton shows up,
Yeah.
and he was already here, but he's on staff. But he takes over the reins, and then you have Lamont Evans,
Yeah,
who almost got the job, is arrested by the FBI, and then you have all this. I don't know what Mike Boynton's record is right now at Oklahoma State, but I don't think it matters. I think
Yeah.
the way he's handled things outside of the program with the players and the investigation, I don't know that anyone could have handled it better and with more class. By the way, happy birthday to Mike Boynton.
Yeah,
His birthday was
yesterday.
But I think you made an excellent point. Cam McGriff, Lindy Waters, Thomas DeZongwa, for taking the pride in the program that they do, you have to give them a lot of praise. You have to be appreciative if you're an Oklahoma State fan because you live in a culture where people tend to transfer
left and right.
and they've stuck it out. So you have to commend that.
Yeah, for sure. I like you said earlier, I hope everyone feels like we need to support these guys, and they go to the games, cheer loud, because those three guys especially deserve it. But they all deserve it.
Right.
They're all going through this together. It's a tough time, but it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be a rough go for the rest of the season. It might not be huge crowds in Gallagher-Iba. Probably not going to be a lot of wins, but I don't think that matters. I don't think they weren't going to go into the tournament and make a run this year anyway. I thought they were a borderline team before all of this happens. Now, they're definitely not a tournament team. They're probably not an NIT team. They're probably going to be just sitting at home in March, practicing or whatever else they do. So I think we have to make the most of what's left of this season for them because they've only got another year.
Right.
And hopefully it's a year where nothing like this happens, no instability of any kind, because it seems every year it's just a carousel for those three guys, and I just feel like those three guys deserve a lot better than what's been presented to them. And I commend them for being so gracious and so headstrong about all of this.
Well, they've been faced with a lot of adversity. Iowa State this weekend, it's the first game, with 9 players. And they've already lost to Iowa State once here in Gallagher-Iba.
Right.
Iowa State's coming off a big win over Texas Tech. They've beaten Kansas. They're a really impressive team.
Yeah.
And Oklahoma State's a lot where Iowa State was a couple of years ago. Just kind of had some bad things go their way, and they, lost some Big 12 games. But now they're back, and I think that's where this Oklahoma State team can be. What do you envision happening Saturday?
It's going to be a pretty rough one to watch if you're an Oklahoma State fan. Not going to lie. I think you're going to see a team go out there and try really hard, but they're just not going to have the talent that Iowa State has, and Iowa State on their home court. They're a really good program. Like you said, a couple of years ago they had kind of fallen off a little bit, but they'll be back to where they are. I think Iowa State's going to take care of business.
I would have to agree with that sentiment, but you would hope that the Cowboys can go put on a strong performance in Hilton Coliseum on Saturday. So we're going to take a quick break, come back, and talk about the NFC and AFC championship games that are happening this weekend and why no one really believes that the Patriots are actual underdogs. We'll be right back after this.
One-on-One is brought to you by Oklahoma Christian University. Get your master's degree in accounting, business administration, theology, engineering, computer science, or cybersecurity from Oklahoma Christian University. Apply at oc.edu/grad. Oklahoma University is committed to offering the best graduate school experience we possibly can. Come learn and grow with us. And The Table. Stop by The Table on Thursdays at 8 p.m. to join their Bible study. Shoot Rachel an email at rachel@thetableosu.com for more information. We'll be right back.
my mind, I was never going to walk right again. Before we were through, we had walked 23 steps. And that was my first steps of freedom. This patient is saying thank you.
Welcome back into One-on-One on Ocean Student Radio KXUI, Suddenlink Channel 112, live from Studio 318. It's the best weekend of football, championship weekend. Yeah.
Especially good for you, Reed.
I hope it is. I hope that it is a good weekend for me. AFC Championship game, the NFC Championship game. My Kansas City Chiefs are taking on the evil empire, the New England Patriots, and you both 1 and 2 seeds left in both conference. I think it's safe to say that the best 4 teams left in the NFL are the last 4 standing, and that's not always the case, but that's how it should be. So we'll start off with this Saints and Rams game. We'll start off with what Sean McVay had to say about Sunday's matchup. Maybe we won't. Maybe we'll keep carrying on
a little bit. We'll hear from him in a little bit.
Yeah, we're going to hear from Drew Brees and Sean Payton and Sean McVay, and then we have plenty to hear from Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady, and Andy Reid. So with this Saints-Rams matchup, they played in Week 9.
Yes.
The Saints won 45-35. Jared Goff had a good game. He passed for almost 400 yards, 3 touchdowns, and an interception, but most of it was playing catch-up. Drew Brees had 346 and 4 touchdowns. Michael Thomas had a really big day, 211 yards with a touchdown. Marcus Peters had a really bad day.
Yep.
Actually, he
was Aqib Talib in that game, or was he still hurt?
He was still hurt.
Okay.
But Marcus
Not that
Peters
makes a ton of difference.
went on a expletive, rant, I guess, against Sean Payton, because Sean Payton had said that, I don't want to put words in his mouth, but he said that they basically attacked him.
Yeah.
And they did. He got burned a lot in that game, and Marcus Peters said, we're going to meet again, had to bleep some things out, and then we're going to eat a bowl of gumbo. Whatever that means. But anyways, Marcus Peters and Sean Payton this week have been downplaying it.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean anything. I still think you're going to have to attack Marcus Peters.
I think so. I think so. This Rams defense was not what we thought it was going to be going into the year.
No, not at all.
It looked like the most stacked defense with probably the most stacked offense in the league. They just haven't played that way. Marcus Peters has had a subpar year, to say the least. Aqib Talib has been injured and inconsistent all year. I agree. I think you have to go at Marcus Peters. I think Michael Thomas just has. Is he the best? Is he on the short list for the best receiver in the league?
He's top 10. I don't know.
I would almost put him in the top 5.
I like to see what he can do without Drew Brees.
That's fair.
In that offense.
That's fair. But he plays really well with Drew Brees and in this offense. So I think he's in for another big day. He was a key part in their victory last week against Nick Foles and the Eagles. I can't believe that. We could talk a whole show about how that magic ran out too. But who are you taking? Who do you like in this matchup?
I like the Saints because, Sean McVay didn't win a playoff game until last week.
Right.
The Saints didn't look prepared. I think they'll be prepared for this one.
Yeah.
I think that they actually have the better defense. And if Aaron Donald and Ndamukong Suh have a big game, I think the Rams will win this. I think it'll be close. In the Dome, weather won't affect them. I think 41-38, the Saints are going to the Super Bowl.
Okay. I would also take the Saints. I like their defense more, like you said. But I want to ask you, what do you think of C.J. Anderson and his little resurgence? I think that adds a little wrinkle because the Rams have Todd Gurley in the backfield and they can throw C.J. Anderson out there.
Well, now the Saints know.
That's true.
And the Cowboys should have known. I don't think C.J. Anderson's going to have a day like that.
Okay.
I really don't. But that was quite hilarious to watch him tear up the Cowboys. So who are you sending to the Super Bowl in the NFC?
I'm gonna send. I hate to pick because I'm always wrong. I'm almost always wrong. But I'm gonna send the Saints.
You're going to send the Saints?
I'm gonna send the Saints.
So we're both going with the Saints. We will hear now from Sean McVay about what he has to say about Sunday's matchup. Hopefully.
As far as a rivalry, you know, I think he's been doing it at a really high level for a lot longer than I have. So I've got a whole lot of respect for Coach Payton. He's an outstanding coach, clearly referenced by the way that his team's playing this year, how they've played over the course of his career when he's been leading the Saints. So I don't think we're in that category yet. We've got to do things for a lot longer to be able to be mentioned in that same breath. Oh yeah, that's a huge advantage that, you know, a great atmosphere and environment for the home team provides. That it definitely forces you to adjust and adapt, and it limits your ability to communicate a lot of things that you would be able to do otherwise if you were at home. So that's definitely something that we have to be aware of. Fortunately, we've played in this environment earlier in the year, but I would imagine that it's going to be an even better atmosphere just based on the magnitude of the game.
Yeah, I think Sean McVay said it, kind of what we just talked about. They've been doing it a lot longer than him. Yeah. And typically that wins out.
Right, and the home field advantage helps the Saints a lot. He mentioned that too, obviously. It's tough to play. It's tough to play on the road in general in the NFL just because the crowds can get so into it, but especially in a championship game, that matters a lot, I think. I still can't shake the thought of the Rams, though. Sean McVay's a really good coach. You know, everyone wants to hire Sean McVay, so they just they'll settle for guys that know of Sean McVay. Yeah. I'm pretty sure if I ran into Sean McVay at a Subway, I could get a job.
Yeah, I follow Sean McVay on Twitter. Hired.
Yes.
It's like, perfect. Do you know how to run an offense? No, but I know Sean McVay. Well, I guess you'll figure it out. I mean, these guys, we'll get into that later on next week, oh, geez. I mean,
it's interesting. I think you're going to see a lot of organizations fail. But like you said, we'll get into that next week. So are we ready to hear from Drew Brees and Sean Payton?
Yeah. Let's hear from Drew Brees and Sean Payton about what they're facing with the Rams on Sunday.
We didn't start the way we wanted to this last playoff game, right? We get down 14-0 after the first two series. But nobody blinked, you know, nobody flinched. Obviously, that's not the way we wanted to start, but we knew we could overcome that. And I feel like we've overcome a lot of situations throughout the season, especially over the last 6 weeks. So I think that does give us a lot of confidence. Just knowing that we can win in a lot of different ways. And no matter what the situation, listen, you play a team like this, you know it's going to be hard fought. You know it's going to come down to the last possession more than likely. And you feel like, you know, everybody on the field, on our side of the ball, offense, defense, special teams, if there's a play that needs to be made, we can make it.
So you have explosive players in this postseason, guys that are extremely talented, guys that are represented on the Pro Bowl, the All-Pro team, whether it's at running back, quarterback, receiver, tight end. But the same thing I would say on defense. And I think that generally when the season's over with, the best team wins, and that's not just in one area.
Well, you heard there from Drew Brees and Sean Payton. Last time they were in a championship game, Logan, you know what happened? Bountygate.
Bountygate.
I'm not, obviously that's not going to happen again. And maybe it's because they got caught. I don't know. But that's the last time they played an NFC championship game that happened. So Sean Payton and Drew Brees have won a Super Bowl before, but it's not like they've been going on deep playoff run after deep playoff run. I mean, it's been almost 10 years since they were able to do that. Actually, 10 years since they were able to do that. But Drew Brees is a Hall of Famer. And maybe one day Jared Goff will be. Maybe one day Sean McVay will go down as one of the greatest coaches. I think Todd Gurley's probably on his way to a Hall of Fame career if he keeps it up half of what he's been able to do. But, Logan, they were an Alshon Jeffrey pass away
from not being there.
From, you know, it certainly looked, a lot of things, they still had 30 yards to go, but they were marching down the field, and they weren't going to have much time left to go down and get a touchdown. It looked like the Eagles might be able to win that football game last week. But the Saints escape. The Rams throttle the Cowboys. And the only team coming off a bye that didn't look well prepared was the Saints team.
Yeah.
Do you think they kind of, you talked about, Drew Brees said, that's not the way they want to start. Do you think they kind of learned their lesson after last week?
Yeah, I think so. I think especially after, you know, you look at what happened last year, the Minneapolis Miracle keeps them from the championship game. Nick Foles almost keeps them from this one. They're not going to let that happen again, and they're not going to not going to start out like that against the Rams. I think they've kind of realized they need to get it in gear, and I think they will be in gear. I think Drew Brees is that guy. Sean Payton is that guy that will get them all ready to start next week.
Well, I said 41-38 Saints. You have to give me. You pick the Saints, but you have to give me a score.
Okay, this is where I really mess up. I'm gonna say 35 to 31.
The over/under right now is sitting at 57. The Saints are 3.5-point favorites. And so what was your score?
35 to 31.
35-31 Saints. 41-30. So high scoring either way,
Yeah.
but we're both taking the Saints to make it to the Super Bowl. Now in the AFC, in Arrowhead Stadium on Sunday, the first ever AFC Championship game hosted at Arrowhead Stadium, the first AFC Championship game for the Chiefs since 1993, the exact opposite for the Evil Empire, which I will refer to them the rest of the show, maybe for the rest of time. They have been to 8 straight AFC Championship games.
Yeah.
13 overall in Tom Brady's career. He's won 5 Super Bowls, played in 8. They haven't won a road AFC Championship game since 2004. They're 9-0 at home, including that win over the Chargers last week.
Right.
But they are 3-5 on the road. They're the second-rated overall defense at home. They're 31 on the road. It's different playing in Arrowhead than it is Foxborough. It's going to be cold, not as cold as they thought it was going to be. But Logan, it's Tom Brady, Bill Belichick, 8 straight AFC Championship games against essentially a rookie in Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid, who hasn't had a ton of success in the playoffs.
Right. A lot of guys on the Chiefs roster don't have a ton of playoff experience, just in general. Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, those guys, they don't have a lot of playoff experience. Like you said, Patrick Mahomes, he's the MVP this year, but he's still basically a rookie. It's his first year as a starter. I'm gonna take your Chiefs, Reed, first. I want to get that out of the way. We're going back to the system.
All right.
The system that works. So I'm gonna take the Chiefs. I think they're just it's better when you're at home. All those things you just said about the Patriots, how they haven't won a road playoff game or road AFC championship since 2004. They're not great on the road. I don't buy the underdog mentality that they're saying.
God.
They're still the Patriots. But I would still pick the Chiefs over the Patriots.
I mean, the soundbite from Tom Brady, no one thinks we're good. No one thinks we can win a lot of football games. No one ever has thought that. You will get the Max Kellermans and the hot take guys that tell you Tom Brady's done. It's the same people that are always clamoring when's it going to end for LeBron.
Yeah.
Because they say it year after year after year, and eventually they're right and they're the first ones to it, and they think they look smart. They don't. No one thinks the Patriots aren't good.
Yeah.
The people thought the Chargers were maybe the best talented top-to-bottom team in the NFL. The Patriots made them look like fools on 2 weeks. I mean, absolute fools. Colin Cowherd this week said, Arrowhead's not going to be loud because people are going to be cold. They're going to have ski masks on. They're going to be huddled together. You're clueless. You're clueless. Arrowhead, and he said, by the way, one of the loudest stadiums in America.
It's the loudest.
Wrong. It's the loudest outdoor stadium in the world. Not one of in America, the world. 142.2. People have waited their entire life to see an AFC Championship game in Arrowhead. My dad included.
Yourself included.
Myself included. No one in my family has ever seen because it's never happened before. I will be there. It will be very, very, very loud. But Patrick Mahomes cannot make mistakes, and he didn't look rattled last time. 43-40 win for the Patriots in Week 6. Tyreek Hill had a big game. Patrick Mahomes threw a couple interceptions. Brady had a big game. Gronk had a big game. High-scoring affair. I don't think it's going to be as high-scoring on Sunday.
I agree.
But as I saw Alabama lose in the national championship game last week, if they play Clemson 9 times, I'm taking Alabama 9 times because I don't bet against the greatest. I don't. And Patrick Mahomes is well on his way. If he has seasons like this, he can win Super Bowls. He can be considered one of the greatest of all time. And I don't think that's out of this world to say after one season. But Logan, Tom Brady, Bill Belichick, they're going to come up with a game plan that no one has seen this season.
Right.
But Andy Reid is also very intelligent. The Kansas City Chiefs have a really good shot to go to their first Super Bowl in 49 years.
I agree.
But the Patriots, I will never, ever bet against them, as I will never bet against Nick Saban. And you will be wrong. They lost in the Super Bowl last year. But if they played the Eagles 9 more times, I would have taken the Patriots 9 more times. The Patriots will win on Sunday, 31-24. They're going to the Super Bowl again.
I'm going to take the Chiefs. We're going back to the system. You pick against them, I pick for them. My score is going to be, a little bit more low scoring. I'm going to say 27 to 27-21.
27.
Actually, no, 27-24.
Well, really quickly, let's hear from the greatest of all time, Tom Brady, really quickly on what he thinks the matchup will be with the Chiefs on Sunday.
I mean, if you're not motivated this week, you got a major problem. I mean, this is the week where, you shouldn't have to put any extra in. This is what it's all about. You sign up any chance you get to play an AFC Championship game. So I don't care where, when, time, cold, weather, rain, blood, don't matter.
So the key for the Chiefs, obviously, with Tom Brady is he's older,
Yeah.
he's not as mobile. Chris Jones, Dee Ford, and Justin Houston. This defense has been one of the worst, if not the worst, in the league all season. They had 2 weeks to prepare for the Colts, and they looked like the best defense in the league. I don't think that's going to happen again. But they need to get Tom Brady off the ball, prevent quick passes, not screens, but quick passes to James White, because they are one of the best offenses at getting the ball to the running back in the slot. So that's going to be the key. The key for the Chiefs is going obviously score as many points as possible and not making big mistakes.
Yeah.
So let's hear from Mahomes and Andy Reid right here.
There's 4 teams left. You're playing against the Patriots, who are in the AFC Championship game every single year of my entire life, pretty much. And so it's definitely a huge game. We're excited for the opportunity, and we're glad we're getting to play. The best, and getting to compete against the best at this time of the year.
I haven't seen any decline, and I haven't seen him get any slower. So he's not. That's not his deal. He's not going to run and do all that unless he has to. But he's as accurate. He sees things better than even when he did when he was younger. So he sees. I'm wearing glasses. He doesn't. Right. So the age thing hasn't hit him. He's an amazing guy.
All right, you heard it from Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid right there. So you're a little bit more confident than I am in the Chiefs.
I am.
What's your score prediction?
I think I said 27-24.
27-24 Chiefs. Late field goal.
No. New England will be driving down the field. They'll need a field goal or a touchdown, and they just won't get it.
Oh, that's going to make my blood pressure. I hope I can survive that. But I think you're going to see a Saints-Patriots matchup between 2 of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. We're going to take a quick break, come back, and talk about why Kyrie had to apologize to LeBron right after
One-on-One
this.
is brought to you by Oklahoma Air National Guard. Contact Oklahoma Air National Guard at 800-GO-TO-ANG or visit their website at goang.com/OK for more information about how to get 100% college tuition. And Unitarian Universalist Church. If you're looking for a church home, visit Unitarian Universalist Church of Stillwater, located at 320 South Stallard Street. They offer an alternative spiritual path and welcome all races, religions, and beliefs. They are also LGBTQ friendly. Services every Sunday at 10:30. We'll be right back.
Stillwater Medical Center now offers a convenient way to view your health information online. It's secure, easy, and free. Our hospital and clinic patient portals allow you to view results and reports, medications and allergies, track visit histories, view upcoming appointment information, and see your statements. To enroll, go to stillwatermedical.com and click on the patient portal link near the top right of the page. If If you have questions, please feel free to call 405-533-6010.
Welcome back into One-on-One on Ocean Student Radio KXUI Sunlink Channel 112 live for Studio 318. Oh, Logan Kyrie, Kyrie.
Always in the news.
He's trying to be a leader, and for that I commend him. But he is not a good leader. He actually had to call LeBron and apologize for being that young guy that he was, because now he is dealing with those young guys with the Celtics. I don't have a problem with him calling LeBron. I don't have a problem with it. I have a problem with him blabbing to the media.
Yeah.
No one needs to know that.
Right. I made a short list of all the things Kyrie Irving did that proves he's not a good leader.
Well, the earth is flat. There's
yeah.
one.
Called out the young guys multiple times. It's like every 4 games, so I assume it's just one guy each time. It's like Jaylen Brown.
You mean the young guys that almost got them to the NBA Finals without him last year?
Yeah, I mean, they were only, like 48 minutes away from the NBA Finals without Kyrie. He's great. He's a great player, but not a great leader. Demonstratively yelled at Brad Stevens and Gordon Hayward the other night in Orlando after a loss, after the play blew up or whatever happened, he was upset about. And then, in that interview, I'm sure he talked about how bad the young guys were and stuff like that, how they need to slow down. And then he tells everyone that he called LeBron. That's not good. None of that should have been public.
None of it.
He is a great basketball player, not a great leader.
Do you think the young guys are looking at this and saying, last year we had a great run in the playoffs and he was a part of
none of it.
Zero. So they're looking at him and he's bossing them around and trying to be a leader, and it's like, maybe you should just leave because we're better without you. Do you think that that's true, that are they better off without Kyrie Irving?
I don't think they are. I think there's a lot of problems with the Celtics. I think there's too many guys. Al Horford's not playing as well as he has in recent years. I think there's a lot of stuff they've got to figure out. But I think if you take Kyrie off, they're not better. I don't think they can win a finals without Kyrie. I don't know if they can get to a finals without Kyrie. They didn't last year. Obviously, LeBron's not there, but the Raptors are as good as the Cavaliers were last year, and the Bucks are really good this year. So I think you still need him to win a championship, but I don't think he has to be your leader.
Well, I don't think the Celtics are going to win a championship this year.
I don't either. I think that's still Golden State.
I don't think they'll win an Eastern Conference title, but certainly Brad Stevens isn't the problem.
Yeah.
But an interesting take that you had, and I don't think it's necessarily a hot take. It's pretty obvious actually, but not something you hear a lot of is they have too many guys.
Yeah.
They're too good. They have an overwhelming amount of talent. What do they got to? What's the next step? Because that's a weird problem that not a lot of people have.
It really is. I think you got to either have to trade Terry Rozier or Jaylen Brown, one of those guys, or you have to wait until the summer where you can restructure Kyrie's contract, then trade those guys and get Anthony Davis. I think that's got to be the game plan. They either have to sit this year out or just make a move right now. But all these guys are not going to be on the team next year, without a doubt.
Who would you feel, if you were a Celtics fan or you're Danny Ainge, who do you feel most comfortable picking up the phone and dealing?
It's probably Terry Rozier and Jaylen Brown.
Scary Terry?
Those two guys I just mentioned. There are teams out there that need a point guard. Scary Terry would be a good starting point guard. He proved that last year. And I think Jaylen Brown's a really good asset, but I think they have so much at that wing position. And I don't think you can trade Gordon Hayward with the way he's playing and with his contract. I don't think you can move from him.
Marcus Smart is a guy last year that, had some controversy.
Yeah.
Found his way back to the Celtics, got paid a little bit.
Yes.
Do you think he is in place in Boston?
I do. I think he's their glue guy. I think he makes an impact that a lot of guys you don't see on the stat sheet. You don't just get it. I was watching a play on Twitter whenever they were playing the Raptors. Kawhi Leonard was hot. He had scored however many points in a row. And the way Marcus Smart defended him, he totally shut him out of the offense. He fronted him in the post. He wouldn't let him get the ball. And the Raptors end up turning it over, and the Celtics end up winning that game. So I think Marcus Smart is a lot more important than he's up there as the most important guy. He's their glue guy for sure.
Do you envision Kyrie? Obviously, he wants that big-time contract. He said in the offseason he's staying with Boston.
Yeah.
But we've seen those videos before. That's why Freezing Cold Takes has a Twitter account, because people say this stuff. I don't put any stock in what he said.
Yeah.
but I don't think there's a better fit out there as far as tradition of franchise, Brad Stevens, winning now mode, where he can be the guy, the leader. I don't think that exists in the rest of the NBA.
What I'm about to say is a complete joke, so don't take it seriously, but what if he goes to LA and reunites with his buddy LeBron? They just made up on the phone. They have cap space.
It'd be great to lose to the
Warriors in the West.
in the Western Conference Finals, and not just the finals. Add that to their resume.
Yeah, but no, I agree. I think Boston's the best fit for him. Maybe Milwaukee would be nice to see him play with Giannis, but I think he stays in Boston. I don't buy what he said at the beginning of the season. I don't put a lot of stock in that, but I could see him being in Boston for a long time.
You think he can be the leader? You think he can adapt his role? Because it's not working now.
No, I don't think. I think he has to put aside the leader thing. I think he can be the best player.
Mm-hmm.
Your best player doesn't have to be your leader.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think he could be their best player, but I don't know if he's going to be their leader.
Well, it is interesting. Boston's not as good as people thought they were going to be. Gordon Hayward, I mean, I don't know. I think that the ankle injury.
Let's wait a year. It's kind of like Paul George. We'll see what he's like in a year, but he is a shell of himself right now.
Well, next week we're going to have a ton of NBA talk. Talk about Russell Westbrook. Obviously, they play in Philadelphia this weekend. Talk about what Philadelphia is doing with Jimmy Butler. JaVale McGee not wearing the right shorts. LeBron, when he's coming back. Michael Beasley, excuse me. We have a ton of NBA talk next week. So we will see you. Make sure to watch the NFC and AFC Championship games this weekend. We'll be back on Monday. Thank you for watching 101 and Ocean Radio KXTY, Sunlink Channel 112.
Determining your future by selecting a major can be difficult.
It's okay to be undecided.
Connect with the College of Arts and Sciences, where your options are endless.
Where you can uncover your passions and achieve your goals.
Express your creativity by exploring a career in the visual and performing arts.
Investigate new discoveries to make the world a better place with a career in science.
Advance knowledge, communicate progress, and contribute to a healthier planet with a career rooted in the social sciences.
Discover your career by looking at the world from different perspectives through the humanities.
Realize a better tomorrow through problem solving and mining data that can change lives.
CAS prepares you to succeed through internships, study abroad, student-guided research projects, and service activities.
With 109 majors, 52 minors, and 24 departments, the only thing missing is you. College of Arts and Sciences.
Connect.
Achieve. Succeed.
When you have a team of physicians and nurses that really truly care about their patients, that translates into patient care.
It's a small practice, it's a small town. Everybody really takes that time to put the patient first.
Everybody cares what's happening to me and that I'm making progress and I'm gaining my freedom back and my mobility back. This patient is saying thank you.
This spring, I invite you to shop in downtown Stillwater. Downtown Stillwater is home to locally owned shops, boutiques, eateries, and dependable professionals that you can trust. Find the perfect gift for your graduate, have a delicious meal with mom, or just stop in to enjoy great spring savings. By creating a demand for local goods and services, you can ensure a place for the local businesses that help give our community character and keep it unique. On behalf of Downtown Stillwater, thank you for shopping local.